call is now being recorded.
Is it visible, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very much visible, sir.
Okay, okay. In this session, I am going to present IoT-enabled mental health care, open issues and challenges. So, various topic that I am going to touch under this is what actually the Society 5.0 will be, and the AI, machine learning and IoT combination. And before actually giving various challenges involved in adapting the Internet of Things in mental health care, I will explain a little bit about mental illness, how IoT and mental health care is done, and then various applications of that IoT application in healthcare, especially that mental health care. Then little bit I will also that explain what are the various mental disorder which may be handled or cured by using various Internet of Things like bipolar disorders, depression, schizophrenia, stress related disorder, etc. So last, that is very important, the various faculty or research scholar who is going to attend this FTP may be benefited that I am going to discuss various research challenges in IoT enabled mental health care, which is related to acquisition of data, and very important one, that is how the self organization of IoT devices are done, and then SLA, that is service level agreement, which is very important. And for the security point of view, that identity management, because IoT devices are going to be increased, and it is increasing rapidly, very rapidly. Billions of IoT devices we have, which is going to generate the data, and those data may be used for that curing the various types of mental illness. So that identity management is very important. Then I will conclude. So first of all, I am going to explain a little bit about what is actually Society 5.0. At this time, we are living in Society 4.0, where everything is internet enabled. Internet in every sphere of our life. So everything is computerized, internet is there. So there will be a website or app for everything. But the next society, that will be Society 5.0, which will be the reality of next 5 to 10 years. That Society 5.0 will be constituting robotics, artificial intelligence, big data, IoT. All these, because there will be a lot of data is going, when we will that place various sensors or Internet of Things devices, then it is going to generate a lot of data, huge amount of data. So that data will be big data. And to derive the information from that data, we need artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, because we have to derive the information. That information should be the correct one, accurate one. The accuracy should be, the precision should be very high. And again, so various things will be done by using the robot. So that will be the our society 5.0, and which will be the reality of next 5 to 10 years. So here I am going to just present before you in society 5.0 what will be the healthcare. You can see healthcare at this time. We if anyone is ill with any disease, he or she has to move to the doctor or hospital or clinic, and then uh, the doctor used to check and uh, prescribe medicine accordingly. But in society 5.0, so which will be the reality? So in that, you need to visit the clinic or hospital. So it will be in your doorstep, that it will be in your internet, or you have to just log in and you have to just upload your that reports, your medical reports, or even though it has been already started that some surgery are going to be done by robots, very precise surgery, very complicated surgery is going to be happen, but in next 5 to 10 years it will be very much reality. So that is also not only this one, it will be due to the artificial intelligence and machine learning and deep learning, we may be able to predict that particular fellow may be prone to particular type of disease in the next 1 year, 2 year, 5 years. So lot of work is going on in Google, and so many agencies are working on prediction of the that is healthcare status of particular person. So this will be the reality in our society 5.0. So here that AI, artificial intelligence, that is the main theme of this particular FTP, machine learning. So machine learning is application of AI that you already know. So the machine learning allows software application to become accurate in predicting the outcome. This is very important one. So that International Data Corporation estimate that the spending on artificial intelligence or deep learning or machine learning will grow from 12 billion in 2017. In 2021 it will be the dollar 57.6 billion, it has been predicted, and maybe it will be the more than this. So you can imagine how much investment is going to be happen on artificial intelligence, machine learning and deep learning. So 61% organization insists that the machine learning, deep learning, or AI will be among the top initiatives in 2021 or onward. So in the present scenario, the machine learning is applied to every industry, including healthcare. So the healthcare maybe in the next 5 to 10 year, healthcare industry will be the one of the largest usage of that machine learning or AI techniques. Again, one thing that before starting actually the Internet of Things enabled mental health care, I must tell you in that AI, machine learning and deep learning are very much depends on the data available, because these techniques are applied on the data. In data, that data should be refined one. It should not be very much raw. So from where that data will be generated, this is very important. So that data will be generated from various Internet of Things devices, IoT devices, which will be sensors, actuators, various embedded devices. So if huge amount of data is going to be generated by these devices, and those data will be refined, and then on the basis of that data, prediction, analysis will be done by various artificial intelligence techniques. Nowadays, that deep learning or machine learning, you can say. So here, the importance of Internet of Things is very, very much, because data which is going to be used by artificial intelligence, that is going to be generated by Internet of Things, embedded devices, IoT devices. So before starting actually the Internet of Things, I must tell you, the IoT is network of physical objects. It is network of physical object. We call it things that are embedded with, that objects are embedded with sensors, software, and other technologies for the purpose of connecting and exchanging data with other devices and system over the internet. So you can say that that Internet of Things will be what? It will be what? It will be a device which will be have one sensor. That sensor may be temperature, heat, humidity, accelerometer, gyroscope, any type of sensor. Then there will be some system software, and there will be little bit of memory which is required to store the data, and there will be a processor which will compute. Some computation will be over there, and there will be some antenna. So that antenna will be used to transfer that data, some base station where processing or artificial intelligence technique, machine learning, or you can say the deep learning technique will be applied. So that will be our IoT, Internet of Things. So you can say that a platform that connects everyday things embedded with electronics, software, sensor to internet, enabling them to collect and exchange data in order to build a better system. The key objective of IoT is to enable user to uniquely identify, signify, assess, and control things at any time, anywhere. Yes, this is very important. Ubiquitous computing, we may say, anytime, anywhere. We just need the internet. So various application of Internet of Things is like nowadays a very important application, that is smart home, smart irrigation. Everywhere Internet of Things is used, but in smart home, smart irrigation, and smart healthcare. Healthcare that we do will be we call it smart healthcare. What we call smart healthcare. So here I must tell you that Internet of Things technology have a great potential in mental health for diagnosis, treatment, and care. Three things are there. Because all these things are done on the basis of data generated. Diagnosis, we can do the diagnosis by using various artificial intelligence techniques on the data which is generated by smart things, smart IoT devices. And on the basis of that diagnosis, we may also prescribe, or doctor may also prescribe the treatment, and accordingly the care can be done. So this is due to the increased ability to collect the real-time data indicating the pattern of activity and behavioral of people. That is very important. I must quote one example of this, that real-time data. Suppose you are going to, that doctor are going to cure one that seizure patient who used to have that seizure, fits, seizure, you can say, fits. What actually happened in that case, when that seizure attack comes, then at that time, we don't have anything to check the heart rate or any physiological signal or other signals of that patient. So that patient, that means there is no real-time data. Okay, so patient is going through the EEG when the patient is all right. Okay, then EEG is not going to give any such diagnosis or treatment or any that type of result which is going to prescribe such treatment, because EEG you are going to be done, it is not real time whenever that seizure is going to happen. So When you are going to use Internet of Things, smart devices, smart watches, smartphones, smart wristbands with the patient who is having the problem of that seizure, so they will give you the real time data. What will be the heart rate at that time, what will be the that various physiological signals. Okay, then actually that exact cause of that particular event can be determined, and like treatment may be prescribed. So that is very important. Real time data is only possible when we are going to use the Internet of Things devices, embedded devices, which is connected through the internet. Here I am going to give you just one that example. IoT impact, Internet of Things impact. In 2008, the number of things connected to the internet was greater than the people living in our earth. So then you can imagine in 2020 it is 50 billion. What in 2025 it will be hundreds of billions of IoT devices. So you can imagine how much IoT devices are going to impact. Okay, so this is very important. Before actually starting the various research challenges and issues of adapting the IoT enabled technology for treating the mental illness, we should know so various types of that mental illness. Here, that mental illness, you already know that depression, anxiety, and other various disorder. So that is the serious global health problem. So mental health is again integral to various that is overall well-being of, which is also defined by the World Health Organization, a state of well-being in which every individual realize his or her own potential, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to contribute to her or his community. This is the definition given by World Health Organization. So here, according to that WHO, more than 500 million people suffer from that mental health disorders. That disorder may be that depression, schizophrenia, dementia, stress related that disorders. Okay, so more than 500 million people are suffering from these all. So as predicted, it will be exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Yes, due to this COVID-19 pandemic, that number has been increased high. So mental conditions such as depression has become a leading cause of disability. Okay, so that is mental illness. Here, I'm going to give you that IoT, how IoT is correlated, how IoT is used in case of mental health care. I already told you, because the IoT are going to give you that real-time data, exact data, real-time data. That is very important. So it is evident of the IoT that related paradigm in ubiquitous computing, that opportunities for developing technology to assist professional and patients with mental condition have significantly increased. So IoT based assistive technologies, at this time, not much research has not been done on IoT based assistive technology, especially for that mental health care. But in a healthcare, various technologies there, but especially there is not much, but research has started for curing the mental health care using the Internet of Things. So IoT maybe or will be helpful in identifying, because it is giving the real-time data. It will be very much helpful in identifying, assessing. Assessing means the severity assessment. Again, the treating, and potentially that alleviating the symptom associated with the mental disorder. That means what kind of disorder it may be, that is bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, stress related. Okay, So that it identifying and assessing all these, the IoT will be the very very good tool for assessing all that. Again, IoT technology system combines the physical and virtual element that I told you. The IoT system consists of that the network of things which will be embedded with the sensors, softwares, memory, processors, antenna. Okay, for exchanging data. Okay, so it will be what that is that virtual and physical. Okay, so so that means again the electronic components, sensor, actuator, software to provide the data-driven product service. Again, like I told you, that there will be more than 50 billion of IoT devices in 2025. The that IoT paradigm promised to connect everything across all industries. So the health industry will not remain that uh, not attracted. Okay.
Sir, I think there is one query. Pragya Agarwal has raised her hand. Pragya, do you want to ask some questions, sir? Pragya.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Pragya Agarwal.
Mayak, can we leave the queries at the end?
Okay, sir,
It
no
will
problem.
be
Okay.
better.
Yeah, sir. Okay, no problem.
Yeah. So here I am going to explain that the IoT paradigm promises to connect everything across all industries, including the healthcare industry, so that information and suggestion that affect the everyday decision. So the IoT application that I told you, in case of agriculture, there are so many applications related to agriculture, various crops, and various crops are using the various sensors and actuators and generating the real-time data of that crops. It is used already in supply chain, in the industry. Smart home is big application of IoT. Smart cities, everything is managed by in smart way. Government of India has also initiated that smart cities project. So in India, hundreds of cities are going to be smart cities in next 10 years. So that application, healthcare, is also, that is the one of the application of IoT. So IoT devices are commonly used for monitoring and collecting the wide range of data that I told you. We have wide range of sensors, so which may collect the physiological signals all the way through that social and behavioral aspects. So again, typically that generated through on device sensors, such as we have various types of sensor. I have mentioned few sensor over here. These all sensors are already available with our smart mobile phone or smart watches or smart wristband. Okay, they're like proximity sensor, ambient light sensors, accelerometer, gyroscope, magnetometer, ambient sound sensors, barometer, temperature and humidity sensor. These are the few one. So these all sensors are available on our smart home, smart watches and smartphone. Okay, we have numerous sensors, especially the IoT application in healthcare. So there is a lot of expectation in healthcare industry, because this industry is very critical industry, life-threatening industry. If something goes wrong, so there will be risk of life. That's why this is very important that whatever we are going to use will be very that quality of standard should be very high. So IoT has been that contributing through innovative solution in monitoring, well-being intervention, self-quantification, information services, contributing to improved patient quality of life and well-being. So it is already there. There are, like, if you are monitoring the, that is blood sugar level, or there are so many already available IoT based sensor system for monitoring continuously blood sugar level, heartbeat, heart rate. Okay. And that we have also system of monitoring the that your blood pressure level. Okay, we have already all these, but particularly in mental health care we don't have such IoT enabled technology, but we have great potential in mental health for diagnosis, treatment, and care, because all these mental health care needed the real time data, and IoT devices are going to IoT devices have ability to collect the real time data, and on those real time data patterns, then we can apply various types of deep learning and machine learning techniques, and then we can that give that various that particularly in mental health care we can give the various treatment, prescription, or various types of curing advice to that patient. So IoT enabled patient uh, in the remote interact, that means we don't have to, because it is all the devices are connected through the internet. Okay, remotely we just that place the sensor wherever, from where the signal, where from where that physiological signal we are going to acquire, so it is remotely connected. Okay, so we need the healthcare professional facilitating the discussion of patients' perceptions, their health and condition for the effective monitoring and assessment. But still, that adoption of IoT technology for mental health is not a very high, so which can be partially ascribed to the misconception that existing wherein the patient may pose an increased risk to themselves and others. So that is very important, because that particularly that the patient suffering from the mental illness may not be the judgmental one, which may not give the exact that it's cannot be able to explain his or her exact condition. So it is that's why there may be the low usage of IoT in our that's mental health care. So before actually starting the various challenges, so here I am going to give you that is the prevalent mental health disorders, assessment and challenges, which are very much related to IoT technologies. And by using the IoT technologies, we may be able to collect the real-time data. So here is that certain mental health disorders are better suited for applying these IoT technologies, especially these disorder, which is involving the observable changes in behavior, or that do not impair the patient judgment. So these disorders, mental disorders, are bipolar disorder, depression, schizophrenia, and stress-related disorder. So you can see over here these 4 types of disorders, which may be very much suited to IoT, Internet of Things type of technology. So I am just giving the brief introduction of these 4 types of disorders, mental disorders. So first one is that is bipolar disorder, which is referred as maniac depressive illness, or we may say typical mood changes. But in this case, if the episode is extremely low mood, so there may be the depression, and again such type of serious consequences of such type of patient is suicide and self-harm. So typical treatment include the for generally the treatment for this is the CBT. We call it CBT, that is cognitive behavioral therapy, that particularly that generally doctor used to do CBT. The use of the IoT to monitor changes in behavior can be great help for healthcare professional and patient. if we are going to that acquire that continuous real-time data by using the IoT technologies, so it will be far better than the CBT, that is cognitive behavioral therapy, bipolar disorder. Another type of this disorder is, we call it the depressive disorder, also known as that depressive, that is unipolar depression. It is characterized that constant low mood. Its symptoms are loss of interest in day-to-day activities, significant weight changes, reduction of mobility, constant fatigue. So these symptoms lead to sometimes that suicidal thought, risk of self-harm. Okay. So for that generally doctor used to do the assessment of such patient by using the psychometric inventories. We call it the patient health questionnaire, PHQ-9, which can be used to diagnose the depressive disorder and its severity, how much severe it is. Many of these inventories are applied by the therapist, and they based on the patient's self-report. It is based on the self-report. So apart from the digitization of these PHQ-9 reports, questionnaires, not many IoT technology solutions have been developed to help treat the support individual with this type of condition of depressive patients. Third type of disorder, we call it the schizophrenia. Schizophrenia spectrum disorder, also referred as that psychotic disorder. It is characterized by the five that physiological domain, like incorporating the hallucinations, delusions, disorganized thought, abnormal motor behavior. This is abnormal motor behavior, and negative symptoms. So which may be seen used to assess this type of disorder. So some IoT driven system have been developed to monitor the patient with such kind of schizophrenia patients. And again, it is non-invasive solution to treating the disorder, because IoT devices will be non-invasive. Again, fourth type of this type of disorder, we call it stress-related disorder. It is also defined as trauma and stress-related disorder, such as that post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, acute stress disorder, ASD. Again, that the stressor may include the threat of death, incidents causing injuries, or sexual violence, maybe sometime. So that symptom may emerge include the flashback, nightmares, and that is hypervigilance. So these disorder, if not treated correctly, can result in negative consequences such as that is marital instability, self-neglect, unemployed, many more. So these are the four types of disorders, which is bipolar, depression, schizophrenia, stress-related disorders. So how IoT is useful in this, that clinical approaches to tackle these four disorder include that pharmacological, mainly the psychiatric treatment that I just mentioned you, that psychiatric treatment, that questionnaire, and some PHQ-9, we use that. Non-pharmacological intervention, mainly that is psychological intervention. So approaches driven by IoT technologies have remained not very much explored. It is unexplored at this time. Some studies shown in the literature that that potential for detecting, assessing, or dealing with such type of disorder. So to directly treating these illness or disorder, generally these are treated on the basis of the changes in behavior of the patient. So if we can monitor the patient in real time, then we can quantify progression, deterioration, effectiveness of treatment as well, because we are taking the data in real time by using various IoT devices, and on the basis of that data we can quantify the progression, we can quantify also the deterioration, and then effectiveness of whatever treatment has been prescribed. Yes, issue over here is measuring the mental health related data. First of all, we should know what kind of data it is going to be generated. Whenever we have placed some sensors with the patients having such kind of mental illness, it may be the bipolar disorder, it may be schizophrenia, it may be stress related, it may be the depressive one. So change in mental illnesses can be affected by analyzing, that is data related to three kinds of data, is that is behavioral, that is psychological, and social signals. All these data may be acquired if we place the various type of sensors on the body of that patients which is facing this type of mental illness. So these data can be collected using the IoT related technology in the real time. That is very important, real time. So one by one, how measuring of mental health related data, that data is particularly the behavioral data is done. How behavioral data is measured. So behavioral features are observable part of an individual action and intentions. So data encapsulating these features represent that monitored in some of location, speech features, patient activity, and interaction in several technology, such as very that simple technology, that simple IoT technology, that is smartphone and smartwatches. We have smart watches and smartphones. Within the domain of mental health, studies have shown the metrics generated from these can indicate an individual mental health state. By using these the metrics from these data location, speech feature, patient activity, and the interaction, so we can have that metrics of the individual. Again, over here, that individual location and that physical mobility can be inferred using satellite-based tracking. We use the accelerometer sensor, trilateration, radio signal using the Wi-Fi one that we can use for that purpose. Okay, how measuring of data is done. So also that some study have used such data to determine the mobility features, which subsequently correlated with the severe depression. If a patient is already depressed, depression symptoms are there, so we can measure what is the severity. Okay. Also, the speech pattern can also be traced by using that is embedded phone, smart watches, smart microphones that we use. So we can also, the speech pattern can be analyzed. So voice pattern, that the frequency of voice, rate of speech, volume, that all are the indicator, very significant indicator of individual suffering from the mental disorder. Specifically that depression one. So this type of behavioral data is very useful for that. So the less costly smart devices like smartphone or smart watches are used for that all types of data. Again, study have also shown that frequency of using a smartphone changing across different state of people diagnosed with the bipolar disorder. Again, that accelerometer and gyroscope sensors are used to trace some commonly adopted traits of patients. These are also the indicator of mental health state. Again, patients with the schizophrenia tends to decrease their level of physical activity. And also we can find out the severity of their illness. Okay, so these are the how the measuring of behavioral data is done, and various types of mental illness is causing. Then we have the measuring the mental health related data, that is physiological data. That physiological data is like facial expression, heart rate, eye movement, EDA, electrodermal activity can be the important marker of the mental health condition. Recognize the facial expression or changes in the movement of eye. We can simply generate that data by placing the camera on mobile phone or camera. It is already there, the camera on mobile phone, and a huge amount of memory is there in that smart mobile phone nowadays. It can provide the significant clues related to the mental state of the patient. That study of eye movement, blinking between the depressed and non-depressed individuals showed that the discrimination is feasible. So by using various AI-based or that techniques, so we can simply that discriminate among the non-depressive and depressed patient by just that data generated through the eye movement. Heart rate is also physiological data, which can also determine the mental state of patient. Again, some studies in the literature that heart rate is variability has a link with the mortality in the patient with mental disorder, specifically that is one suffering from the depression. So that means the depression patient, that heart rate changes accordingly, and we can by simply that generating the data of heart rate continuously, the patient having the mental illness, we can predict severity, fatalness. So level of the electrical property of skin can be traced by using the wearable sensors. We can just wear the sensor by smart watches, wristband. Okay. So negative system, that is symptoms of the poor functional outcome in the patients with schizophrenia may be done by using this physiological data. Third kind of data, that is social data. Yes, nowadays we have lot of social data. Social features can be regarded as level of engagement in the person interaction with others. You already know Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. These all can be used to determine the patient's mental health state. All these social networking sites like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Twitter. Okay. Social interaction can be using the Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, microphone to recognize the location and proximity. So these technology been used to capture the movement and interaction between the patient with the schizophrenia, providing the information regarding the way the patient interact with each others, as well as the usability and acceptability concerns. So for instance, the use of Instagram photos to detect the features that can predict the depression symptoms between their users. So we can just get the photos posted by individual on its Instagram account. We can predict whether the particular person have any symptom of depression or not. IoT and mental health related, that is the analysis of data associated with behavioral, physiological and social signal that I mentioned, 3 types of data which may be generated by using the various types of sensor, can provide significant clues regarding the internal state of individual. We have very good technology in terms of that artificial intelligence, deep learning. Okay, some of this data can be effectively collected using existing technologies and can be great help to supplement the self-report of patients for providing better diagnosis, personalized treatment by healthcare professional. So IoT system for mental health and well-being. So some work in the literature have been already contributing to effort at the intersection between IoT and mental health. So in the subsequent slides, I'm going to cover that various IoT systems that have been aiming to providing the technological solution, which is most prevalent in the mental health condition. Here is various IoT system for mental health and well-being. I am considering one by one the various disorder, that is bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, depression, stress-related disorder. So one by one I am taking, so that one by one. The first one is bipolar disorder. So what are the various IoT systems for mental health and well-being, which is the patient suffering from bipolar disorder. You already know the nature of IoT technology that I just told you. Nature of IoT technology is ubiquitous nature. Ubiquitous means everywhere, anytime, connected through the internet, and data is generated real time. So there is new possibility for collecting physiological, behavioral, and social data from individual being developed. So there is one example of Monarch, a personal mobile monitoring system aimed at people with bipolar disorder. One system is already there, which is used to monitor the bipolar disorder. System facilitates the constant monitoring of patient's mood, quick access the patient's information by doctor, because everything is connected. Patient's data is directly going to the doctor's uh, system, and doctor can analyze what is actually what is going beyond the threshold. Okay, whether there is a severity or not severity is there is no severity. Okay, so that is actually that doctor can visualize by using the real-time data. Again, another approximation for treating the manic depressive bipolar 1, that is depressing disorder. So use of smartphone, that is already in use for continuous monitoring the people behavioral pattern, such as we are going to monitor its people at the particular person's location, mobility, level of activity, social interaction. These all are the indicators and the change of the mental state. So we can simply that assess that is bipolar 1, bipolar disorder. Then we have another system, we call it the PsycheStand. It's a continuous monitoring system to treat and predict the bipolar disorder episodes. It is integrated with the physiological and behavioral sensing. It provides the user with an interface of personal and disease-wise management. Okay, again, the studies related to bipolar disorder and smartphone usage, smart calls, SMS, combination with self-reporting data have discovered that there is an association with kind of activity and changes in the bipolar state. Then the use of self-reports such as questionnaires may bring up the problem related to the self-reporting data compliance. Yes. Before using such kind of IoT system, we used to have that questionnaire, PHQ-9. There is self-reporting data compliance. That is a big problem. That's why by using IoT system, data will be generated continuously, real-time data, and more accurate analysis may be done. Again, the mental states can be influenced by sleeping pattern, eating habit, social interaction, physical activity level. So smartphone can be used for identify voice features, speaking behavioral. Okay, so all these are also the very that predict and identify change in the mental state. So, however, that restriction in phone call features, heterogeneity in patients, speaking behavior, and voice features can represent a challenge. So these are the challenges which is presently the research challenges. But that data is very much useful or significantly important for assessing the patient with the that mental health system. Again, sensor can result in non-invasive way of constantly monitoring patients suffering from bipolar. This is very, very good, non-invasive, because the sensor are just placed. Okay, so this is non-invasive type. Another type of that disorder is depressive disorder. So IoT system is also for that one. So depressive disorder are characterized by low mood, difficult to focus, low interest or pleasure in activity of that is diminished self-esteem. So these behavior and physiological characteristics can be tackled using sensing technology. So we have various sensors. These sensors are continuously sensing the patients suffering from the depression, stress-related disorder. Okay, so cognitive, motor, verbal behavior. Okay, so all these are sensed. So smartphone provide the ubiquitous characteristics that can be used in the constant monitoring. So changes in the pattern of the sleep, habit, phone usage, that is mobility, location can be related of that depressive symptom that I just mentioned. IoT system for depressive patients, that depressive disorder patients, that smartphone can be useful to assess the depressive symptoms. Yes, because all sensors are available in our smartphones. Wearable devices such as smart watches provide an alternative for non-invasive physiological, behavioral, or body tracking can be done by these that smart watches, or you can say that wristband. Heart rate, body temperature, galvanic skin response also can predict the depressive treatment. Okay. Then we have another type of that disorders, schizophrenia. We have also few available IoT system for curing the schizophrenia patients. That is the IoT related technology to treat the access the patient that schizophrenia and other psychotic disorder. We have that smart everywhere the smartphone is applicable because it is easily available. Everyone is having the smartphone. Okay, and again we have most of the sensor available with that smartphone. So daily assessment by question provided by the professional caregivers can be assessed by using the smartphone. And then that smartphone is connected with the internet, and that continuously that data may be shared through the web page or mobile devices or base station. And then in the base station we can apply the various IoT and various artificial intelligence, machine learning, and that is deep learning techniques for the assessment, prediction, or prescription. So still the adherence to the study was an issue. So mainly mainly due to the disorder nature, because disorder nature is very critical one. Patient condition and lack in specification on content required from the patient is, so that schizophrenia patient is very critical one. Changes in digital and social activities such as phone usage, social interaction can be indicator of lapses in patient suffering from schizophrenia. Okay, so this is also. Again, fourth type of that disorder, stress-related disorder, we have IoT system. So IoT system, that smartphone and wearable and ambient sensing devices are always there for that. Stress can affect the individual with long-term adverse effect, and in some cases it develops the other mental disorder. By having that stress for long terms, the patient may go into the depression or anxiety. So smartphone, smart microphone, smart watches used to collect the voice related data, which may be reported to link individual stress level. And however, device limitation is there. So there may be that, like in case of smart microphones, we may have battery limitation, can represent challenge in continuous voice tracking, but we have nowadays. Again, in case of that stress related disorder, voice features, physical activity, and skin related characteristics which can track using the smartphone, wearable devices. So this can be the central to dealing with the stress related disorder. So smart band to detect the conductance can be used to determine the patient level of stress. By using simply bearing that band, we can measure the conductance, and then by using the data of that conductance, we can predict or we can determine the patient's stress level. Again, that PTSD, that post-traumatic stress disorder caused by the consequence of physiological stress after experiencing a highly stress event. Like presently we are going through the pandemic, COVID-19. So after recovering from that, so we can also check that PTSD. Sleeping pattern, environmental condition, and the physiological features can be used to determine that PTSD individual. So that use of home automation devices, that is various camera that we apply on home automation, wearable monitoring, that is wristband sensors. So that doctor can that non-intrusive method for assessing and treating this disorder. So here is the data of number of studies related to IoT and mental health published in the year from 2010 to 2020. Numerous studies has been published in the very highly reputed journals, okay, or magazines. Now, most important things, because many of you may be of research scholar, maybe of young faculty members, which is going to do the research on mental health care using IoT and artificial intelligence. So there are various research challenges. So unless you do not know the various research challenges, so how you will going to tackle those challenges? So this is the last point over here. That's research challenges in IoT enabled mental health system that I am going to cover one by one. Various research challenges. So the research and development of IoT based system and the services for mental health care are increasing. That you already know. If the usage of IoT is going to be increasing rapidly, the number of IoT devices in 2025 will be the 100 billion devices. So you can imagine the data generated by those number of devices will be very huge amount of data. And data is nothing once we do not generate the information from that data. So information from those data will be generated once we apply various artificial intelligence technique. But the IoT is very much important. Data should be the correct one. It should generate the correct data. IoT devices should generate correct data, real-time data. That is very important. There are challenges which spans across different domains. Some of these challenges include IoT device performance, ability to process and analyze the massive data to implement intelligent health services. So here the possibility to make real-time prediction, that is very important. The prediction should be real-time of critical episodes in patients with mental disorders such as clinical depression. Also that is represent a challenge. The psychiatric features or digital biomarker used to detect and assess any of these mental health related disorder can be subject to change due to the rapid emergence of acceptance of the IoT related technology, since other measures of the mental state and behaviorals are being developed. So the research challenges in the IoT enabled mental health system is of many types. What I have just divided into four major research challenges. First one is data acquisition. This is very important. Data acquisition for IoT enabled mental health system. This is very important. Unless data is not acquired in real time, correct data, then we cannot apply various prediction, various prescription, or various AI techniques. So data acquisition, because devices are of heterogeneous in nature, various types of devices of different vendors. How to collect the data? Protocols followed by various devices are different, because there is not standard protocol for exchanging the data from different IoT devices. That's why data acquisition is very big research issue. There is a issue of interoperability, because devices are made by various vendors. It is serving on various protocols. Some are using Wi-Fi, some are using Bluetooth, some are using IEEE 4.1. Okay, so various types of standards are going to be followed. Okay, there is not standard. That's why data acquisition and making it interoperable in the same platform so that actual prediction will be done. So this is the big research challenge. So I'm going to explain this in detail. Then another challenge is self-organization of IoT devices. This is very important, because data is going to be sent from the sensor, various sensors. And sometimes few sensors may be dead. And at that time, how data will be shared among the other devices, base station, doctors, or prescriber. So that self-organization self-healing nature of IoT should be there. It should be self-healing, self-organized. That is very important. Third very big research issue, that is service level agreement, SLA. This is very important. There is a mismatch in service level agreement. Devices are made by any other manufacturer, and various protocols and standard used by the device are different. Data is shared in different location, different region. Okay, there are various issues in service level agreement. And very big issue is security issue. That issue is identity management. This is very big issue. Security. Because healthcare data, especially the mental healthcare data, is very critical data. If you are going to share that data among the various devices, various users, the system is very much vulnerable. That data maybe that intruder may steal that data. So there is identity management. And again, there is a very big issue that if the devices are increasing like 50 billion, 100 billion devices, so how identity management will be done? How we will be giving the unique identity for every devices. So this is big issue. One by one, I am going to target these issues. We have 20 minutes. Okay. So one by one, I am going to target that issue. The first issue is data acquisition for IoT-enabled mental health system. This is very big research issue. Suitability of certain IoT devices for mental health system is one of the challenges that demand more attention. Multiple devices are to be used for that is human interaction with other environment to determine whether their present or future state of mind, self-quantification, human health and their surrounding environment, sourcing data in relation to the human environment may require that using more than one device, which may be wearable like wristband, smartwatch, mobile phone, devices positioned in different location across the environment, so environment may be different. Okay, so because we are going to, that all devices are going to generate the data. Different environment, different devices, it is positioned in different environment. So this is very big issue, how that data is going to be interoperable. So more complicated that wearable, mobile and ubiquitous devices could be more different vendors. Again, there is a transmission standards. One is following the standard, how data is going to be transmitted between the devices. It may follow the different standard. There are so many standards. It may be wireless and wired method of transferring the data. Again, there are currently some that well-being monitor devices, Fitbit, Charge 3, Apple Watch, Xiaomi Mi Band 4, Nike Plus Fuel, Samsung Gear, Pro 2, that is Fit 2 Pro. All these are the few devices that are generally used for the monitoring the well-being of individual, which may include the mental health also. But all these devices are made up of different vendors following the different standards. It is going to generate the different data. Standard of data and payload of data will be the different one. These data are collected by sensor embedded in device which generate the information and used for the quantification. These devices are not interoperable directly. It is to be made interoperable. That's why some of the devices are not also the reliable enough to be considered a medical grade. So here I just mentioned the medical grade means we are dealing with the health of patient. The tolerance level is very low. Devices with medical grade, it should be highly accurate. precision level should be very high one. So these devices may not be of that. Again, data acquisition, data generated, it is of the heterogeneous. Heterogeneous means different types of data it is going to generate. Analog, digital, and digital of different pattern. Okay. So due to that, these it include the issues like reliance on different non-interoperable protocols, non-standardized data format, diversity in analysis algorithm and platforms, variety of data visualization mechanisms, how the data is shown. So it is all fragmented. Due to all that fragmentation, it is very difficult to reach in the conclusion and prescribe, subscribe, or predict something from that. Detecting and measuring the mental health related condition are very critical one. Okay. Again, that different devices that compute the same data, but sometimes yield the different reading. That is also based on some environment. Okay, again, that data quality regarding the precision, reliability, availability. Okay, all these are very crucial things for acquisition of data. That is very important one. So that these are all the challenges, which is that huge amount of research is going on that, making all devices interoperable, making the data format in homogeneous format, using the data transmission method, which is similar one. That's why the data the data will be of uniformity in nature, and we may come to the decision of predicting something or giving some decision on the basis of applying various AI and that is machine learning techniques. Incorporation of heterogeneous devices represent both opportunity and challenges. Yes, opportunity is always there if it is of heterogeneous in nature, but challenge is that I already told you how those heterogeneous type of data is going to be used to make some significant analysis, particularly with the health condition, mental health condition. This is very important. So this aspect demands a particular attention for creating the interoperable platform across in that bearing mental health condition. Okay, so this is very important. Then next type of that challenge is self-organization of IoT devices. I told you that IoT devices can potentially be from different vendors. One is that smartwatch of Xiaomi, one is for Apple, and there may be the smartphone is of different brands. Okay, so that feature different platform. This poses another challenge regarding the substitution of devices due to the upgrade and or a breakdown. Yes, if some devices is to be upgraded or some devices are down, which is generating the data, and from that data we are going to make some analysis. So it will be very difficult to organize or self-organize. It should be self-healing, self-organizing. Okay, so that different capability, sensor reading, precision, frequency reading of the data of that socialization, physical activity, and sleep is that is very important. So self-organization features such as the generally lacking in existing IoT devices and platforms. So that self-organization has observed in nature that swarm and herd is desirable and potentially needed for types of the scenario related to the mental health. So it should be organized in swarm or that herd. Okay, so there are various types of that method of organizing the IoT devices. So swarm and herds are the best one. Okay. Again, the self-organizations that organize themselves with the minimal or no intervention for the human. It should be in that way. Treat patients suffering from the post-traumatic stress disorder by combining both home automation and behavioral devices. So self-organized system that IoT devices can announce their presence to their other devices in network and collect specific data as required. If the patient forget the triggered alarm, so that self-organization is very important one. So self-organization is important to adapt the varying condition that patient is going to be encounter. Again, that self-organization can result the robust and scalability in our IoT devices. So IoT Internet of Things network becomes the robust one, or it is scalable one if our that network is self-organized, self-healing. If any device or sensor goes down, there will be no effect on the network. If any device is going to be upgraded, there is no effect on the uh, IoT network. So that it makes the robust and scalable one. That means we can change, we can increase, we can decrease the devices. Okay. So that is that quality of service that will be improved, and effective and responsive service delivery will be improved if it is self-organized. Third big research challenge is service level agreement. This is very important. SLA. That encapsulates the accord where all the terms between the service provider and service consumer are agreed to maintain the quality of service. All type of IoT devices must ensure the trust, privacy, ethics, transparency, and security of service consumer. Because service consumer are the human being, patient of mental disorder. So this assurance is applied to all throughout the platform architecture, ranging from sensor data, aggregation and sharing the mechanism of third party and storage within the transit. So that service level agreement explicit consent must be taken from the patient for collecting or sharing, allowing analytical, removing data, storing data. This is very important. So patient do not allow you to share that data with any other one. So over here that ACM has just represented an initiative to create a ACM Technology Policy Council for the standardizing this one. So in case of this SLA, that legal consent should be in place for self-organized IoT devices, because it may be the region, countries. Okay, so it changes. The patient suffering from a given that type of mental disorder may have a clear judgment. So that is also the problem. So that is terms and condition between the device manufacturer and healthcare service provider should be clear one. Third party software will be used in case of any device like watch. That software may be of another company. Watch may be of that Apple. Again, acceptance risks related to unreliable data. How two IoT devices will interact, what protocol going to be follow. So all these is that is SLA, service level agreement. Very big research challenge is identity management. I told you that billions of devices of IoT is going to be in next 5 to 10 years. So IoT-based solutions supporting individual with mental health issues may that collecting sensitive critical information. That information is to be communicated through the internet, perform uninterrupted monitoring. That means continuous real-time monitoring is done, detecting the critical illness, then enables correcting targeting records. So that means it is all prone to that is intruder. That means intruder may steal that data. And identity of all these devices, we may not have that very good identity management, because these devices are in the billions and it is made by different vendors. So how the identity management will be done? This type of security challenge is very, very high level of security challenges with this. So that sensitive and critical information of patient, IoT device, this is, and patients, caregivers, healthcare provider, health insurance, pharmacies, drugstores need to be uniquely identified. So that identity management is it should be uniquely identified, verified, authenticated one. Only then the secure communication should be made between them. So that is very, very big issue, identity management. So identity and authentication system are centralized in present to that computerized system. But in case of IoT, it is self-organized. It is not managed by a single server. It is not server-based. So several limitation of the that identity management is there. It is prone to various attacks. Scalability is also less. So there may be known and unknown devices, which may lead to various vulnerabilities, additional risks. Tens of billions identities will be there. Again, there will be a proprietary standard. There are various devices which is made by various vendors, and they made their own standard, proprietary standard. So this will be very difficult. So IoT devices and services to be implemented for mental health need to ensure secure, persistent, scalable, movable, and interoperable new entity management system which cannot be compromised due to the simple legacy network. So this is very important. Identity management. Now I am going to conclude my lectures, very important lecture, IoT enabled mental health care. So that is mental health disorders are becoming a global issue that I have told you 500 million patients nowadays suffering from this. This COVID-19 has increased this number more. Social isolation and stress-related situation have become more common due to this COVID-19. This pandemic result in the loss of job at worst loss of a close tie, prone to suffer mental health related problems such as anxiety, depression, other stress related conditions. Again, the medical staff constantly exposed to the considerable degree of stress, anxiety, depression, and insomnia due to the physical fatigue and burnout and day-to-day that task and risk that the medical staff is going to follow. So new way of detecting and potentially treating the mental disorder are being proposed by various researchers. Okay, so that tele-robot that provide the ability to measure the patient temperature without any physical intervention. The potential of the IoT for mental health application has been hardly harnessed, but nowadays a lot of research is going on because IoT has a lot of potential. Sensing technology must be able to make inference about critical episode. For instance, patients suffering from major depressive disorder. Devices must be able to adapt themselves to that circumstances with minimal or no intervention from the researcher. Patient's perception can change over time due to illness, so that can be very much sensed by using the real time and continuously sensing the data by bearing the various types of sensor. Intervention wise, several changes are yet to be discussed in terms of policy that I just explained, the SLA, okay, laws, research, and protocols. There are plenty of opportunity of IoT to play key role in boosting and role in boosting and democratize the mental health care. So IoT devices are characterized by generating an enormous amount of data, which can be used to diagnose mental health related cases. So interoperability that I just mentioned. So because devices are made by various vendors, some are proprietary one. So it is issue of interoperability. Self-organization, another issue. And then the last one is security. Security is big issue, that identity management, because data is going to be shared among the various stakeholders, and data is very important one. It is health related data. Okay, so an efficient identity management system is the foundations in securing the IoT based mental health solution to protect the overall ecosystem and sensitive information of patients and other stakeholders. So that conclude my research, presentation. So Thank you very much. Anyone having any question, please? We have 2 minutes.
Participants, any queries, any doubts? So let me check the chat box if there is any. Okay, no. Okay, thank you so much, sir, that you have enlightened us with your knowledge and skill and discussing with us how an IoT can be helpful for the prediction and the detection of mental disorder. So this will be definitely very helpful to our participants to enhance, to expand, to increase the volume of their research work. So we are really very thank you to you. Big thank you to you.
Thank you, madam. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. So dear participants, dear friends, now we are heading towards the end of this program. So my big thank you to all of you. You all been a very supportive and cooperative with me. A big thank you to you. So anything, any feedback or anything from the participant side, if anybody wants to say anything, so most welcome. If anybody wants to give any feedback, that will be very helpful to us for the future. If anybody wants to say something. I hope you all have enjoyed the ride of learning with us the last 5 days. Okay, kindly switch on your camera so that we can take one last photograph.
Madam, when is the exam, madam?
Okay, okay, but 2-3 more instructions are there which I want to share with you. I'll share the link of the exam in the WhatsApp group by 4:15. So that link will be open for 1 hour till 5:15. So try to complete that exam, or it's a small test of 25 marks. So try to complete that on time. So that after that the link will be closed by 5:15. And second very important thing is it is for everyone that you need to fill the feedback of all the resource persons on the portal. After yeah, you need to fill, it is mandatory guideline for the AICT. You need to fill the feedback for all the resource persons. That is required for the certification. That is from your side. Else others details will be filled by me.
The feedback
Any
link will be available in
you want
Apple.
to share with us?
Ma'am, can we do that feedback form can we fill up after giving test?
Not getting you. Kindly repeat.
I'm asking, can we fill up the feedback form after giving our test? Can we fill
Yes,
up
yes, yes, yes. After completing your test, yes, you can. But you need to fill the feedback for all the 10 resource persons on the
Okay.
portal. Okay. Make take one photograph. Others have also. They have switched off the camera. Kindly repeat. I'm not getting you.
The feedback link will be available to WhatsApp, or we want to go to ACT website.
Yes. Feedback link is already there on your portal. So you need. It's already there on your portal. You completed after your test. It is already there.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much.